Hey, what's up, guys? It's your girl Kia, and I am back for another video. Let's have some fun today. So, if you have not seen, mostly in Black spaces and on some social media platforms, that a lot of famous Black people have been getting in trouble for going what some people are calling full MAGA, going the full Nicki Minaj, the full Minaj rather than the full Monty, and it has stirred up a lot of confusion in Black spaces, and I just kind of wanted to have a quick conversation about it. If you watch my channel long enough, you know that I am a Black Republican. I have been a Black Republican since I attended an HBCU. Not because I saw like some weird thing about Black people being stupid or slow or plantation or whatever. I made a choice because my views and my ideas lined up more with the conservative Republican Party than they did with the Democratic Party. Now, let me be very clear. I am not MAGA. And that's not just me saying that so I can keep viewers on my channel. Again, if you watch my channel long enough, you know that I am not MAGA. I don't think Donald Trump is a Republican. I think he is a charismatic businessman who understands marketing extremely well, and he's marketing to the people who he knows he can get on his side, and get to listen to whatever he has to say. I think that's all it's ever been for him. So I don't think he's Republican, and that's why I can't align with. That's one of the reasons why I can't align with anything that he has to say. So let me be clear with that. The other thing that I want to be clear is that I do not think people who are Democrat or have liberal views, like I heard some woman on that there's a show where they debate in the darkness is Dr. Somebody and saying that liberalism is a disease. I do not think liberalism is a disease. Again, if you watch my channel, I do think, and my podcast that I have with Miguel Lloyd, that I do feel liberal women cause a lot of problems, a lot. I don't think they do it intentionally. I think they just sometimes have no idea what's going on and they're just jumping on bandwagons very quickly, and they tend to not be helpful. If you don't like it, you don't like it, that's fine. But that's literally what I've seen specifically about liberal white women. But I don't think they're diseased. I don't think they're evil or what do they call them? Democrats or whatever weird name they've made up for Democrat. I don't believe any of that. I believe we are allowed in the United States to have completely different political views. And if somebody wants to be MAGA, they be MAGA. Believe in Donald Trump. Do whatever you want to do. That's not my business. But me personally, would don't believe in anything that he's doing. Don't believe that he's changing the country. Don't think he's doing things for the better. That's my opinion. But recently, there have been celebrities like Nick Cannon who's gotten in trouble. Tristan Thompson went on Kelly Miller's podcast to talk about his immigration views. We also have Chilli from TLC getting in trouble as well, all for making MAGA comments. So what I don't understand about Chili's situation, we'll go through it one at a time. First, let's see what Nick Cannon had to say when he sat down with Amber Rose or drove around with Amber Rose or in some kind of car for whatever reason. But let's just take a listen.
The elite now
Not even close. Not even close. Democrats don't care about black people.
okay,
And they don't care about people. They don't care about people of color. And the Republicans do. And that's the misconception.
And you know what? I agree with you 100%.
Thank you,
People
man.
don't know that the Democrats is the party of the KKK.
Yep.
People don't know that the Republicans are the party that freed the slaves.
Yep.
I mean, both of you and I have some conservative views. You just a little bit more outspoken about it than I am. And I don't subscribe to either party. I rock with W.E.B. Du Bois when he said there's no such thing as two parties. It's just one evil party with two different.
So I'm gonna stop it right there. Amber Rose, as we all know, went full MAGA at the beginning of the 2020 campaign season, not 2020 campaign season, the most recent campaign season, and she actually spoke at the Republican National Convention. So she's gone full MAGA. And when it comes to what he's saying, that she's saying the Democrats don't care about black people. That has been the trope for a long time. The Democrats don't care about black people. The Democrats don't care about black people, but the Republicans do. Can we show how the Republicans care about black people and what they've done? No one is showing that part. Now, don't get me wrong. Do I think that the Democrats have put in programs that have been detrimental to the black community or are holding up these programs that have been detrimental to the black community? One thing, not doing welfare reform, which I think the Democrats should be on top of doing welfare reform. It's long overdue. But what have the Republicans done to help black people? And a lot of people's conversations, why are black people always looking at it out for handouts? Why are they always looking for handouts? Because of the history of what black people have been through in this country. I'm sorry. Even as a black Republican, I can recognize the fact that you have hundreds and hundreds and thousands of people who were brought here against their will, made to build up America, turn it into what it is today. And every time there is a leg up, something detrimental happens that sets them back. We can look at multiple race massacres that happened across the United States, even in the state of Florida where I live, the Rosewood Massacre, where it was an entire black town fully self-sufficient of black people that was burned to the ground. These things happen. And so I do believe that certain programs should be there to help black people because of what happened through what has happened throughout history of the United States. I believe there should be some kind of program there to help. Do I believe in reparations? I don't. I don't believe in reparations. I'm sorry, I don't. That's my whole thing. Um, so what have the Republicans done to help black people? No one's saying that. And they're saying that they care about them, but no one is giving me an example, and I would love an example. The other comment that Nick Cannon and Amber both said in this clip is that, most people don't know that the KKK was the Democratic Party and the Republican Party was a party that freed the slaves. Everybody that went to high school knows that. Everybody that had US government in high school, which most students do, and that's not some secret. Like the fact they're sitting here like, oh, the Democrats are just keeping this behind closed doors and they don't want to tell anybody. Everybody knows this. Everybody knows this. What people don't want to talk about is the great switch. And some people in the Republican Party and MAGA say there was never a switch, there was never a switch. There actually was a switch. The switch they say it was from there, the first switch happened in the 1930s, but the main switch happened during the civil rights movement with LBJ and John F. Let me make sure I get my facts right. I'm trying to remember my history lessons. Yes, I said it right. So LBJ and JFK. So during that time, LBJ and both JFK Jr., during their different presidencies of courts, were more supportive of the civil rights movement. And a lot of the people in the Republican Party were shying away from that. That is not something that they wanted to do. So black people were Republicans at that point. But when they saw that civil rights was now becoming a thing that the Republicans didn't want to vote for, and weren't supportive of, they started to shift more to the party. The same thing with JFK. JFK was very heavily wanting to get civil rights, wanting to support Martin Luther King Jr., everything, and people just started to shift more to the Democratic Party. Now, after that happened, there also was another shift when Ronald Reagan got elected. They called that the final shift, and more people moved to the Democratic Party. Now, prior to Trump being in office, I wouldn't never ever say that the Republican Party was just outright racist. Never in a million years, because they weren't racist. When I became a Republican, and there were a lot more black Republicans back then, the Republican Party was not racist. Now, did they perfectly align with black people's ideas and views? No. But were they outright racist? No, they weren't. Now, when we fast forward to why people are so anti-Republican and so anti-MAGA, it's because of the people who follow Trump and follow MAGA. And Amber and Nick seem to be ignoring this factor, which is super annoying, that we're ignoring the fact that in the last year alone, we have seen more racism, more anti-Semitism than we ever have in the history of the United States. Well, that's wrong. No, not the history of the United States. But in most recent times, it has gotten worse. We have seen multiple rallies with people holding Nazi signs. We have seen more and more people on social media, saying racist things. Some even getting, GoFundMe started, even though they've said racist things to other people, calling people the N-word, calling people, derogatory names towards the Jewish community, which I will not say on my channel, just like I won't say the N-word, saying all these things. And there's no consequences for these things. We have, the president saying not exactly these types of things, full out racist things. He's not saying it but he's not chastising or demoting or being angry about anything that he does. A lot of times what we see is that he excuses it away as a joke, or they're a comedian, or it was just this, or it was just that, or it was just a meme and I just reposted it. We see that over and over again. But Amber and Nick aren't talking about that at all. It's just, you know, Democrats don't care about black people. Okay, so what are the Republicans doing for black people? Let's even take the whole black people thing out of it. What are Republicans doing to calm down race relations and the racial tension that's happening in America? Because that's what I think would help a lot of things. If Republicans were coming out and saying, you know, I don't even know what they could say that would keep them from without the ire of President Trump, honestly, but that really should be the goal of calming down the racial tension. And honestly, the Democrats aren't either. I don't think either party, like Nick said at the end, that both parties are both, quote unquote, evil with different names. That could be true depending on how you feel about politics, but let's not make it seem like that the Democrats are these awful, horrible people who don't like black people, who don't support black people, who don't do all these things, and Republicans are, you know, in this day and age, the great white hope. The next clip that I want to bring up is Tristan Thompson. Tristan Thompson is Khloe Kardashian's child's father, or the father of both of her children, actually. And he went on Kelly Miller's podcast, and Kelly Miller is the wife of Stephen Miller, who is a ghoul, who is just he's just an inhumane person. How he thinks about other people who are not white is completely inhumane. And so Tristan went on her show and she asked him what his thoughts were on immigration. So let's go ahead and take a look at his thoughts on immigration.
2020.
hmm
Congratulations.
Thank you.
I'm sure it was a very long road.
No, it's pretty quick.
Actually, really?
Yeah.
Is it because you're in the NBA?
I think it's just because of the pandemic, so they're just quick with it.
No, it was because
What are
he's in
your
the
thoughts
NBA
on
and had
President
money.
Trump's crackdown on illegal aliens?
I mean, with President Trump, what he's doing, first of all, I love what he's done so far for our country. I think he's helped our country a lot. Um, in terms of where he stands with that, I think, I'm a firm believer because I have family members and I have people that are immigrants. I think, I believe, for those that do the thing the right way and get the papers, I think they should be taken care of first and foremost. I think that's the right thing, right? I think that's the right way of going about it. But yes, do we have some great, brilliant minds of people that are in the process of getting their papers or in the process of they're in the in-between stage? I totally understand. I think I think it should be case by case on the right people. So I understand where he's coming from, but for me, I think it varies depending on who the person is.
Bit more nuanced for you.
Yeah.
When you look back at your
Well, that was just a whole bunch of nothing. He has people in his family who are immigrants. He understands that people who have papers should come first, and be considered first. He understands that there are people that are in the process, and he thinks Trump is doing a great job for the country. That was a whole bunch of nothing. We have seen several people who are doing it the right way, who are getting arrested at the courthouse after being within a hearing for their immigration status, or people who are even MAGA supporters who came under asylum, who are seeing their immigration lawyers on a regular basis, and were documented of seeing their lawyers on a regular basis being sent away. Haitian Americans, Haitians as well, who are here under asylum, living, working, work visas, visiting everything, and still getting deported and it not mattering. So what is he talking about? That, there's some people who are doing it the right way and they should be taken care of first. They are being taken care of first. Deported. They're being deported first. This whole thing with immigration, again, if you watch my channel, I have said multiple times, deporting people is not an immigration policy that can be sustained. The amount of money that we're spending on housing people, the fact that we had to build facilities to house people, to then deport them, staff those facilities, all those kind of things, that is not a sustainable immigration policy that our economy can withhold for long periods of time. Do I believe that the criminals should have been deported? 1,000%. Anybody with a serious record, felony on their record, or multiple DUIs should be deported. There should not be any ifs, ands, or buts about it. But if we're arresting people who have, you know, jaywalked, or they have some petty theft on there from 5 years ago or 6 years, and we're deporting them because they have a criminal record, that seems dumb to me. And a lot of people will always say that, well, they have a criminal record because they broke into the country or they came here illegally. Okay, so what is the fine or what is the punishment in the United States for breaking and entering? What is that? Isn't it probation? Isn't it something small? Isn't it like community service or something if you caught breaking and entering without damaging anything? So them saying they need to be deported and can't come back, it's just all ridiculous to me. I think a real immigration policy needs to be in place that is for everybody, not just people who are coming in south of the border. It needs to be for every single person that's coming here legally. Canadians, Europeans, Middle Easterns, Brazilians, everybody, Chinese, Japanese, Indians, everybody to be held to the same accord. Meaning, if you fly over here on vacation and now you're staying with your cousin because you want to try to find a job and stay here forever, no, 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 no. That's not how you do this. You need to go. Or if you came over here on a work visa, you lost that job, you need to go. I'm also one of those people who doesn't believe in the 90-day fiance visa. I don't believe in that. I think that's whack as hell that somebody can just get married and come over here and look, now you're American because you married an American. When there's other people here who have been with their spouses for decades trying to get paperwork and get things processed, and they keep getting pushed back and pushed back and pushed back because a lot that's what happened to a lot of American spouses, that they married somebody, have been married for decades thinking everything is fine, trying to figure things out, and that person gets deported. The most famous person that happened to is Teresa Giudice and Joe Giudice. Joe Giudice was 3 years old when he came here from Italy. Had been living here, I think he was 43 when he got arrested. He got arrested at 43 for some, I think it was tax evasion or lying on paperwork. It was something baking related. He did 12 months and then they deported him. Like, yes, he did something wrong. He shouldn't have done it. But are we really talking about deporting somebody who got married to an American citizen and has been here for 43 years? I mean, it doesn't, the immigration system just doesn't make a whole lot of sense. And I think the first step is making sense of it. And Tristan Thompson doesn't know what he's talking about. Also, why is he on her podcast? Why does she have a podcast? Kelly Miller is the wife of Stephen Miller, who is like, just he's a Goebbels of this administration. He's just a propagandist ghoul who cares? But not the fact that his wife gets a podcast and people are actually watching her. She brings no value to any conversation. She actually was on CNN for a short period of time. She brings zero value to anything. So the last person that I want to talk about that got in trouble. Oh, let me stop that. Is Chilli. Oh, let me pull it up the right thing. Chilli from TLZ. So TLC, what recently came out is that she donated to two causes. One that she thought was for child sex trafficking, and the other one that was related to veterans. Both of them were small amounts, like $400 and $300 each. So like less than $1,000 in donations so far they've been able to find out. So it came out that both of these organizations have ties to Donald Trump and MAGA. Now, I will say this. A lot of us donate to organizations, charitable organizations, and we don't know what their pact or what their board takes the money and donates to. We don't know. There could be a lot of things that we're donating to that we don't know what the actual core is. Like for me, if I donated to like the Boy Scouts of America or something, and then they have a whole separate arm that's donating to Trump or donating to the Proud Boys or something like that, does that mean I believe in the Proud Boys? No. So I'm cool with her on that. But then she reposted a image on her Instagram saying that Michelle Obama was or is a man that has transitioned, which is so whack. Like that is the weirdest thing to say about Michelle Obama. Because listen, I'm taller than Michelle Obama. You can't tell because I'm sitting down, but I'm taller than Michelle Obama. Her and I had the same exact body type. If I don't have on makeup, I don't look the best or whatever. And I'm assuming that I would get called a man as well, even though I'm 100% woman. Like that whole thing about her being a man is just ridiculous. When I see it, it kind of hurts my feelings because me and her are shaped the same. Anyway, so it got reposted on Chilli's Instagram story. She claims she doesn't know how it happened. So let's listen to her story slash explanation. Yeah.
To address a few things that's circulating on the internet that's very concerning to me. Let me say this first. I have the utmost respect and admiration for Michelle Obama, and I would never say or do anything that is disrespectful to her or to any woman. I would never do that. And I had no clue that this repost had happened until I started getting phone calls and text messages from everybody, and I immediately went to my page to see what was going on. Now, mind you, I'm not very computer savvy, so I'm looking for this repost button, and I see that all of these buttons are very, very close to each other. And clearly I was scrolling and my thumb hit the repost button. Again, I had no clue that something like this happened until I got all the calls. But of course, I took that down, and, I would never post anything like that. I would never do something like that. That is not my character. I have supported the Obamas. I gave to the campaign, both runs, voted twice for him, and supported the organization that Michelle had in the schools for exercise for the kids. I would never do anything that's harmful or hateful to anybody. I'm just not wired like that. That's just not who I am. And when it comes to organizations that I have donated to, these are the things that support the veterans. I have always supported them, not just now, but for years. This is not something new. So I just wanted to let you guys know, this from me, that I would never do anything so disrespectful, and I would just never, I'm just not about hate or anything like that. If you look on my page and see my posts, it's all about love, faith, and connection. That's what I'm all about, and I've always been that way, and I will continue to be just that way. So I just want to thank you guys for, your love and your support.
I'm just gonna stop it right there. Um, this whole I don't know how my fingers work thing is really annoying to me. That's why I made that face. This whole I don't know how to scroll, that whole I'm not computer savvy. I would buy that if Instagram was a brand new feature that just popped on people's phones. I would buy that, but I can't buy that right now. And the reason why, I mean, I'm looking at my phone right now, and true enough, it doesn't pop up and say that you reposted it or whatever like that. You hit the button and then it just does it. And then you can undo it or whatever. I get that, but I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I just don't buy that she was just scrolling and reposted it, because it also brings me to the other fact of, why is your algorithm showing you that? Because that post that she saw, I hadn't seen that post on social media. So her algorithm has seen other stuff that she's looked at that could be MAGA related, and they're serving her other stuff that it thinks that she might be interested in. So it's not so much that she reposted it. Fine, it could be an accident. I doubt it, because phones are phones and Instagram's not a new feature, like I said. But how is that in your algorithm that you're seeing it? That doesn't magically show up. I mean, again, I work in digital advertising all day. I know how this works. And as far as her donating the organizations, okay, fine. I can give her that. That she donated to organizations that align with her beliefs. She did not know they were MAGA. But that other part about her not knowing how phones would work and scrolling and fingers and all that kind of stuff, no. I feel like Chilli is MAGA. And also, Chilli deals with a little bit of not anti-blackness, but a little bit of self-hate, a teeny tiny bit. I remember there was an interview where someone called her a beautiful chocolate woman, and she was offended by that and said she wanted to be called caramel, which is dumb. Who cares? It could have just been a thank you thing. So I think she deals with a little bit of that. But I feel bad for her because she's getting the Nicki Minaj treatment, which, and I don't think it is as odd as the Nicki Minaj situation. But we have to stop just being hurtful to women of color who are famous, who support Donald Trump, and not being as hard on the men like Nelly, like Snoop, and I can't think of others. I would say Waka Flocka, but Waka Flocka is getting a lot of backlash and does not care. He's sitting in it. And I feel like it's what a lot of Republican celebrities have to do. Is just, if you're gonna do it, just sit in it. If you're gonna repost these things and go to the performances and make these comments and donate to the organizations, you need to sit in it. This backpedaling thing and acting like all of us are dumb and stupid and or money's just money. It's not that big a deal. I'm gonna go get a check. No, we're not dumb. If this is what you believe in, this is what you believe in. And this is one thing I can say about, Officer Tatum's of the world and what are those light-skinned brothers' names? I can't think of their names. They're on YouTube as well. Stevie, a lot of these other YouTubers, the people who went on that podcast that's surrounded with Amanda Seals, they are boldly MAGA, boldly Donald Trump supporters, living in it, accepting it, keeping it moving, whatever it is, what it is. And I can respect them for that. People like the Chillis or Tristan Thompson, who's probably going to backpedal on what he said in a little bit. The people like Nick Cannon who might backpedal a little bit. They're trying to play both sides of the fence rather than just say my views align with his views and I'll take the hits as they come at me. But these are my thoughts. I mean, I know it's a little bit of rambling because this is just an interesting subject for me because like I said, I am conservative. I'm just not MAGA and I'm caught in like a weird world between the two. I have the ideas of how it used to be when both parties were respectful towards each other. Like even when you said you were a black Republican, people kind of just went, "Oh, that's weird," and kept walking. And now when you say that, people are looking at you like you see a white woman in the mirror rather than a black woman, and that's not the case for me. So listen, drop into my comments. Give me everything you have, good, bad, or ugly, indifferent. I don't care. I want to hear it. I want to hear your opinions, and I will respond back to you in the comments. And I will see you guys in the next video. Have a great day. Bye.